Why are you forced into a poorly made submarine to explore a planet that is made out of actual human blood? Well, in Iron Lung, you play as a death row inmate that is given one chance at freedom, but there's a catch. You are forced to pilot a submarine and document what you find on an actual blood moon. But there's a problem. Upon entering the submarine, you find a note next to a computer from a previous inmate that explains what's really going on here. The note talks about how this is an execution and not an exploration for research purposes as you were thinking it was for two main reasons. Firstly is because the sub you're in, the SM-13, is a small and rusty sub that is not designed for the depths you're going down in. And lastly, because even if you do survive, this universe is basically dead already. Well, what do I mean? Well, decades ago, every star and habitable planet just vanished into thin air. This event is known as the Quiet Rapture, which is of course parallel to the biblical one. Due to the fact that there is now nothing, survivors have been going from place to find something. One of these somethings was AT-5, also known as the Blood Moon, which is made out of human blood. It's not known how and why the Quiet Rapture occurred, but some people think it was the heat death of the universe, which doesn't really make sense to me because why would all the habitable planets also disappear? Circling back to the note, he ends on a somber note, funny, where he talks about how they're gonna get his execution and he's gonna get his freedom because even if he does survive all of this, he doesn't really have anything to go back to, really. And looking at the current state of this universe, yeah, I don't really blame him. You begin exploring the planet because what else are you gonna really do? And you find a variety of interesting things. You begin to take photos of these, and a lot of these photos look like they were taken by an actual potato, so forgive me if I'm getting some of these wrong. They include images of giant skeletons and what I can only assume is fauna, but these are not the most concerning photos in the bunch. This photo is, and at first glance it may not look like much, but trust me, it is. Because what if I told you that this photo is somehow a portal or an anomaly of some sorts that we don't really understand? This is because if you interact with the portal, it can sometimes teleport you to your last previous known location, and sometimes if you're close enough to it, you can actually hear the blood even boiling near it. I personally believe that this right here is some way in some form connected to the Quiet Rapture that occurred recently. But let me know what you guys think in the comments because I'm actually curious what you guys are thinking. Okay, so remember when I said this is the most concerning photo? Well, I lied, but not really though. I think it's the most interesting photo in the game, but I don't think it's the most concerning, at the moment anyways. The most concerning photo is this, which to the naked eye doesn't really seem like much, does it? But to those that have more eagle-eyed vision, you may currently understand that you are being followed and hunted right now. This is because this thing hiding in the background here is a predator and not just some camera distortion of shadows. And if you make it to this specific part of the ocean, your radar will start going crazy and you will hear a loud bump outside. And if you take a photo to see what is outside, you are hit with this now infamous photo. That bump causes blood to start leaking into our submarine and now the alarms are blaring. You manage to escape this creature and put out all the fires inside of the submarine, but don't worry because you'll be seeing him again very soon. Exploring the world some more, you can find another submarine wreck with the words SM-8 written on it. If you type SM-8 on that computer from earlier, you get a hidden message. The message talks about how this sub that we're piloting right now is a burner sub and is basically just a pile of trash. However, there are subs like the SM-8 that are supposed to be good and used by scientists. The SM-8 was meant to come back to the surface, but it obviously never did because look at it. Like most things, it's unknown what caused the destruction of the SM-8, but I think we can all take a pretty good guess as to what. It's not all bad though, because the message states that the COI may bring us back to the surface because they're technically low on resources. The COI is an organization of the last fragments of humanity still out there in space, and they're the ones that put you in this submarine. There is another civilization called Eden that beefs with the COI because of a previous civil war. Apparently, Eden started a war on the Filament, the largest space station at the time, and Eden resorted to war crimes and decided to blow up the entire space station, which is now uninhabitable due to the radiation. The game hints that we are a member of Eden and that's why we're here on death row, but it's never confirmed, so. If we search up our sub, the SM-13, we get some pretty interesting stuff. We literally get the FNAF corporate talk about how the SM-13 is a perfectly designed sub and that nothing can go wrong with it and is meant to handle these types of deaths. However, at the beginning of the game, it literally tells us that the sub is not designed for this, so Big Submarine just lied to us. So maybe that whole Civil War being Eden's fault is a lie and should be taken with a grain of salt because clearly the COI is not meant to be trusted. And lastly, if we look up our ocean, AT-5, we are told that this ocean is interesting because redacted. Which could either be because of this anomaly down here, or because of that giant fish that somehow terrorizes this planet. Speaking of our fishy friend, if we head to this last location on the planet, he comes into our ship and basically eats us alive. Don't forget to subscribe because this is a red video and watch any of these videos if you're still bored. Bye.